Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we will be 2 steps towards our, Halloween goal by, 2 nights to go.
2 steps?
2 steps into
We're
getting
getting
close.
really close to Halloween now.
Yeah, so this will be a few more days left to Halloween,
We're getting there,
another few more days till we go to Fright Night,
Yeah,
which
we're
is
going
even
to
more
Fright
exciting.
Night. Actually, yeah, it's coming up soon. Yeah.
So anyway, tonight we're reviewing another Halloween movie that was released in, let me see, when was it?
2021.
Last year.
Now listen, this one's for the kiddies, okay?
Yeah, suitable for the kiddies at home. So it's called The Addams Family 2.
Now, you say, why are we doing that one for? Well, I'll tell you what, it fits into what we do. We do sci-fi, horror, supernatural, fantasy. Well, this is a supernatural black comedy.
Yeah, and this one came...
it sort of fits into it.
And this one
it's
came
cute.
out directly in October too. So technically it's a Halloween movie, so no pressure.
Well,
It's therefore we're allowed to review it if we want.
Well, that's true. Yeah, 1st of October to last year. Well, there you go then. I didn't see that before.
Well,
okay, here we go. I'll go do my usual stuff.
Right.
Okay, produced by Gail Berman, Conrad Vernon, Danielle Sterling, Alison O'Brien.
Allison.
Say the name properly. We don't get into it. Directed by Greg Tim and Conrad Vernon. Oh, Conrad does get around, doesn't he? Screenplay by Dan Hernandez, Benji Samit, Ben Queen, and Susanna Fogel. Story by Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit. Okay. Obviously based on the characters by Charles Addams, who started this thing many, many years ago as a cartoon strip. We've had a TV series with John Aston and What's the Who's-Its, and all sorts of groovy things. All the other movies now are up to doing the animations, and I think the animations hold their own quite nicely.
Yeah, before we go on, this one focuses on the Addams family going on a sort of holiday vacation, and I think that it was probably they got inspired by an old TV show of the Addams Family, where the Addams Family did a special TV series where they traveled the world in a caravan that's shaped like their Victorian type mansion.
It looks really good inside.
Exactly like that.
And I think it's a little bit more like Doctor Who's TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside than the outside.
Exactly. So it's rather... I guess it was probably taken from that, maybe.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
in this case, they tried to shorten it and try to make it look like they've traveled to different workplaces around America.
They did really quickly. It's supernatural. Now, okay, some of the voice cast. Okay, Oscar Isaac does the voice of Gomez Addams.
Yeah.
I think he was the one who did the last movie too.
Yeah,
I'm not
he
sure.
did.
Now I know Charlize Theron plays Morticia. I love her voice in this. It really works for me. Yeah, I think it's great.
Right.
Now, Chloe Grace Moretz plays Wednesday Addams.
Nice.
Does Wednesday Addams' voice. What can I say? She nails it. Nailed it in the first movie, and she nailed it in this one. She has got that dull, monotone, menacing sort of voice that you would expect from someone cute like Wednesday. Now, Nick Kroller's Uncle Fester. He's off the planet. I like him. He's really, really good. Now, Javen Walton does the voice of Pugsley Addams.
Yeah. Before Mike goes on, I think you guys should be aware the original actor who did the first one that was done the 2019 cartoon Addams Family movie. He decided not to rephrase his role for this as Pugsley in this film due to his voice changing. So they brought in this younger actor to rephrase the role.
That's okay. Reprise
The role.
Yeah.
So
so he didn't reprising the role. That's okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So his voice changed. Therefore, he could not return.
His voice broke. He couldn't do a kitty's voice anymore. Me neither, just quietly. But
yes, moving on, Mike.
Now, Bette Midler comes back as Grandma Addams.
Yep.
Now, I'm not sure. Conrad Vernon may have been in the previous movie voice for Lurch. I'm not sure. I didn't check. But he doesn't have a lot of words. And that sort of stuff. But he also does the voice of the house. The spirit of the house. So he does that. But now, there is a singing bit for Lurch. And Dominic Lewis provided the singing voice for Lurch's rendition of I Will Survive, a Gloria Gaynor song.
And Snoop Doggy Dogg returns as Cousin It.
And he does a tune, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sings.
Pretty damn good too.
Yeah, he sings an in bit, but he also does a bit of music as an intro to his appearing.
Does he do the outro music?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I can't remember. Anyway, I can't remember now. But I always liked Snoop Dogg. Good singer. Now, I won't go too far into it, but I will mention a guy I know, movie-wise, Wallace Shawn. He shows up in the most interesting places. He plays Mustela, who's the antagonist lawyer. And I always liked Wallace Shawn. He was in Princess Bride as an antagonist. He was in Vamps.
Yes.
As a modern day Van Helsing type guy. And he ended up liking vampires. He just shows up in the wonderful roles.
Yeah,
so I like Wallace. Yeah.
He has an interesting voice that I can say.
A bit like him and Joe Pesci. They got that sort of squeaky sort of funny voice.
If you have the right voice and you have the right character to portray that character, then you have a role on your hands.
Actually, I will mention one guy. The main antagonist, Professor Cyrus Strange, is a scientist guy. He's voiced by Bill Hader, Hader. And he's an interesting character. So yeah, the voices they chose whatever for these roles suited them quite nicely. So very happy with it. Animation's good, but Sarah's going to tell the story, and I'll get onto my bit later on. Oh, by the way, I don't know what the budget was, but it made 120 odd million at the box office, and I've got no idea what it's done at home media. I would like to think it made a few more dollars, and but yeah.
Yeah, I won't talk about it in reception because we'll leave that till later, like we often do. So I'll dive into the story.
Wait.
What?
Oh, yeah. Of course, it may have made more money at the theatres, but it was the end of the COVID, and they didn't do a huge theatre release.
Yeah.
So it also became available online rental the same day. They try to get that in there. Yeah, I've got the date here, but it hit the home media circuit pretty fast because of COVID was still keeping people out of the theatres. So it might have made a lot more money on home media than normal.
Yeah, I wish box office covers home media.
Well, it can't. It's impossible.
That's impossible.
You wouldn't have the details, and it changes daily. Anyway, carry on, Grizzly.
What?
You.
Okay. Anyway, the story begins that Wednesday is in the science
fair
at school, and she's got this new chemical she's developed in order to impress her peers. And of course, one of her peers turns out to be her parents, and they came there, and she kind of doesn't feel comfortable with them being there. You know how it is with kids. They don't want you around
all the time. Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, helicopter, whatever you call it. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, her science experiment is taking genes from animals, like from a Socrates octopus.
The octopus is really, really bright, and Uncle Fester is a dingbat.
Yeah, yes. And so she injects some of his Socrates' DNA into Fester, and Fester becomes a little intelligent.
A lot more intelligent. However, there are side effects.
Yes. Then we get to the interesting part to the science fair, the winning part, which means who's going to be a winner and who's going to be a loser.
And Wednesday should have nailed it.
Yeah, but the teacher who's in charge of the judging says, "You're all winners. Everyone gets a reward."
Unfair.
Yeah. Wednesday's like, that's not fair because how come you can't challenge yourself? All that stuff. Yeah. I understand where she's coming from. I mean, if you're all proclaimed winners, how are you going to tell who's the best and who's the loser?
Best one, yeah. Couldn't you have the best winner and all the other people runner-ups?
Yeah, like second, third, fourth
or
place.
Or just all second places. Yeah, but someone's got to be the ultimate winner, the best. Yeah, but I think it's unfair too. Yeah.
Anyway, presenting the awards is Dr. Strange, I think.
That's a good name for a person, isn't it?
Yeah, and he kind of...
Superhero type guy.
He sympathises with Wednesday to a level, thinking that he understands where she's coming from about the fact of growth and trying to be a winner by experience and stuff like that. And by winning an award without even really winning, it just feels like you're not winning.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's sort of like, hey, I went there. It's sort of like, how do you put it? It's not like if you're in Boy Scouts or Girl Guides or something or other, and you go there and you get badges for not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, you really got to learn to tie knots. You got to learn to start fires. Use a bit of flint or rubbing two sticks together, or do something life saving, whatever. You know, but you don't get given them. You got to earn them.
Yeah, that's what Wednesday is trying to do. Yes. Anyway, Cyrus Strange sympathizes with her and says that if she would like, she can make her chemical, her experiment much more. He would be glad to share this information, any information that could involve the her project. But she says all the information is a family secret stuff.
And then so he has a plot, doesn't he?
Yes. We then watch as Pugsley accidentally burns the place down by using one of the kids' volcanoes.
He fixed it up.
He fixed it up, he
so
claims.
It's all volcano.
And then it starts burning the whole place to cinders.
Yeah, as one would expect in an Addams Family film.
Then we cut to them back at their homestead, where Wednesday is pondering inside her room, saying that she feels like she's still an outsider inside her family, not feeling like she connects with either one of her parents or... that's pretty much it that goes by. And where
poor little child.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Pugsley has his own set of problems. He's dealing with he wants to develop a relationship, even though he's only I don't know what age.
Let's say he's about 12 or something.
He's 12 or 13, and he's developing that sort of thing. And Fester gives him relationship advice.
Yeah, Fester wrote a book on how to woo women
he
and other things.
Says that he's been on so many first dates, which is
I've been on lots of first dates. That's a bit of a worry, isn't it? No second dates.
No second dates. What does that tell you, folks?
Yes, good old Fester. Yeah.
Anyway, he goes. He's still affected by Wednesday's special, the potion she made for the science fair, and he's starting to develop similar octopus habits.
He likes showers, baths, but one of his arms starts to turn into a tentacle.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
all the mad side effects.
He goes downstairs, and Wednesday sends a letter to her parents telling her she's not hungry, but she just wants to be left alone. And Gomez doesn't feel like he should leave her alone because he feels
he's a daddy.
He wants to congratulate her for all her hard work, and her mother just says, just leave her alone. She'll come back to us when she's good and ready. But Gomez doesn't want to wait this long, so he decides to arrange a family vacation with the family.
A bit of bonding
time with the kids and stuff like that. And so he decides to arrange a special tour of special haunts with the family. So the next day, they set up the caravan or whatever, and they start loading up. And of course, Wednesday thinks this is odd and starts thinking, why are we doing this again? And then somehow a lawyer appears telling them that he's here to find out if Wednesday that Wednesday maybe not be their legitimate child. Unfortunately,
I sometimes wonder about Sarah.
I sometimes worry about everyone. Anyway, the Gomez and Morticia think this is just a joke that Wednesday's pulling, something like that, and they give him the finger. Not really a finger. I mean,
a real finger.
A real finger.
Yeah, as one would an Addams Family cartoon. Yeah.
As a bit of a tip. And the guy walks away saying, "I can't believe he gave me the finger." I can't believe how funny that is.
Yeah, there's a couple of funny jokes sort of dropped in there here
anyway,
and there. The usual ones.
They leave Grandma to look after the mansion, and she starts to make a party in their absence.
Well, she wanted to make a few bucks. She made it like a nightclub. Why not?
Yeah, why not? An ongoing one. Anyway, so they travel, and while they're driving through the night, Fester, using his as they're traveling, his octopus mind decides to take them to
different places where water
Niagara Falls.
Went to Niagara Falls. Yes.
Yeah, instead of where they're going to go to.
Was it Death Valley or somewhere?
Somewhere
really nice and dry. You know.
So they end up going. Well, actually, they were going to Salem. Yeah,
that's right, Salem. Yeah, that was the first point of protocol.
Forget Salem. Everyone knows how that ends.
Yeah,
then they drive to Niagara Falls, where there's lots and lots of water, and he Pugsley tries to impress some of the girls at Niagara Falls, and he flunks it. So thanks to Wednesday, she uses a voodoo doll to get him to dance in an interesting way. It looks so funny, especially when she throws the doll over the cliff and he falls with it.
Whatever.
Crash
Don't go
into the
overboard.
water. Anyway, soon enough, the lawyer, along with another guy called, what's his name? Pongo. He's a very big, very strong,
a bit like Lurch.
Big guy.
A bit like Lurch, yeah.
A big muscly guy or something. And Gomez, Morticia, and Wednesday, and Fester, they dive into the water to escape the lawyer. And it's very hilarious. Gomez tries to make this out this is just a bonding time, but dear old Wednesday thinks that Gomez is acting so nuts because he's dying. That's his joke. Her joke. She says, "If you're going to take up a new lover, your mother dearest, go ahead. I won't pity you." She was kind of saying. Anyway, the guys they continue on. They soon arrive in Sleepy Hollow, and where they're talking, changing ghost stories and stuff, including one where Fester mentions about Wednesday when she was a baby. She was in the nursery with all the other babies, and when the babies, he starts to check her out, and then the babies start crying, and because he disrupted their sleep.
So he did what any sensible person do. He juggled the babies to put them to sleep, and most of them, he believes, got back in their right crypts.
Yeah, so he says.
Most of them. Ish.
And Gomez and Morticia are pondering this, thinking,
Okay, maybe that solicitor guy, lawyer guy was okay.
Because I don't think Fester ever told them about the juggling ever in their life.
Mixing up the children in the nursery. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so they wander off to talk and take Pussy their cat out to
kitty cat
to do his business, even though he's already done his business.
Well, you never know. The big pussy cat. Yeah.
Anyway. So they talk a bit, trying to figure out whether or not whether or not Wednesday is their legitimate child or not. They're not sure. Wednesday overhears.
Do you want a DNA test?
What?
Do you want a DNA test?
Don't know. They say they decide to keep it from her, but Wednesday overhears the conversation and starts pondering whether she should seek out the truth or just continue believing that these are her parents. Soon enough, they arrive in, I think, Miami. Miami.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, a beach place, let's say.
Yeah. There, Wednesday Pugsley tries to get more attention again, and of course Festa comes up with his own plan by pretending to be Jaws and scaring the people out of the water and them off the beach.
That didn't work very well,
did it? Really well, did it?
No.
Mm-hmm. So that plan filed up again. Anyway, when Morticia gives Wednesday a present.
A necklace
that has traces of blood from each Addams family member.
Yes. Lovely.
Yes, reminding her of Wednesday she will always have a spot in the family, even though Wednesday's starting to doubt whether she is part of this family or not. Anyway, so meanwhile, it arrives. He comes to visit the family, and we...
Cousin It.
Yeah, Cousin It. And we get the Snoop Doggy Dogg song that introduces Cousin It every time he arrives. And of course he's like...
Are you swear at me?
And even Festa says, I still can't understand him, all that stuff like that.
Me neither.
I can't understand him either, but at least...
It's like Donald Duck. I got no idea what Donald Duck says half the time. Yeah.
Anyway, it eventually explains to Wednesday that he went through his rebellious phase, even shaving all his hair off, and we don't see the photo. He shows a selfie of him
with no hair.
With no hair. We don't see the photo.
No, we're never going to see the photo. What's underneath? Actually, in one of the shows there, someone asked it, underneath all the hair, and they said, what are you underneath all the hair? And he goes, oh, I see. So we still don't know what he is underneath all the hair. He could be a big furball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they soon arrive, I guess, let me see, where did they arrive to? Oh, they arrive at the Grand Canyon. And there, Pugsley sets off some grenades and blows the whole thing to hell.
Not TNT, it wasn't grenades.
Grenades
but I was hoping he'd actually cave it all in. He didn't cave it, he just did a lot of damage, but it would have been really good. See, Donald Duck had a cartoon years ago. He went to the Grand Canyon, he found this old mountain lion there, and had a big race and chase through there, and then knocked over everything, and the whole Grand Canyon had been backfilled with all this rubble. And the ranger gave them both a shovel to start digging. Yeah. That would have been really good.
Yeah, anyway, so that's what happened. The Pugsley blows the place apart. And it was very funny. And, of course, Cousin It doesn't stay. He says he has a private gig coming up, which takes place at Granny's, I think.
Yeah, back must have. No one knew that. He didn't tell them.
The place is really rocking back at the home instead. And a lot of people are there,
Grandmama was making a shitload of money.
Oh, yes. I swear, Mike. You
A
don't know
bucket
who's
load of money.
online.
Oh, little kiddies, what the S word means.
This is a cartoon movie, and adults don't want you swearing.
Oh, manure. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Soon enough, Wednesday, out of her curiosity, decides to before we get to that, they soon arrived at Texas, or one of the parts of Texas.
Yahoo!
And they plan on hiding in a motel, I think it is, where
they went to a motel or something called the Alamo, and he thought, we'll be safe here at the Alamo. He didn't realise it was a tavern called the Alamo, but that's Gomez,
Yeah, he's there just to hide Wednesday as much as he can. Anyway, they arrive there and they soon find out about one of those Miss Texas competition
with all the girls had to dress up and do a little thingy. And what a great place to hide Wednesday. They dressed her up in
Wednesday is displeased about this. She doesn't like this idea too much. She says to her dad, she'll take her revenge on her dad.
Oh, yes, and she looked very serious. This is going to cost you.
And she meets one of the girls there, and she says her talent is reading minds. And she definitely guessed everything that the girl was thinking of.
And she screamed and ran away. Yeah, very good.
It was hilarious.
That's our Wednesday.
Anyway, the competition begins. Wednesday's family is in disguise in Western clothing. I mean, very cowboy Western clothing.
Well, Morticia, I don't think you're ever going to make her look like a cowgirl. A cowboy hat does not make a cowgirl.
Nope.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, so does Festa, trying to make himself look like a horsey.
Yeah.
Anyway, while they're there,
about the size of a horse. Yeah.
So Wednesday dresses up in the most horrible outfit I've ever seen
It's just
for
pink,
her.
little pink dress,
outfit with really
blouse,
curly
had a
blonde
curly wig on and stuff, and
she uses her knife and kind of cuts some ropes where it shows lots of red paint, and she does a carried blood dump.
In Stephen King's Carrie, where little blood came out, all these buckets of red paint on all these little girls.
Oh yeah, it was disgusting.
What a good finale to the tune.
And the lawyer and Pongo arrive, and Gomez quickly distracts the audience and distracts the kiddies by shouting, "Hey, that person over there is the most popular talent agent out there."
Yeah, all the parents and stuff,
Parents, little girls start running out of him, trying to get an interview or try to get him some,
why not? Works for me.
Quickly, Gomez gets Lurch to grab Wednesday, and as he's going, he looks at Pongo like he knows him, and Pongo recognizes Lurch in an interesting way.
Interesting.
They have a look between them that tells you
they shared
a
moment.
Anyway, Wednesday finally decides to lay the facts to rest by trying to identify whether or not her dad is her real dad. Actually, she meets the lawyer at one point, and she traps him in a bit of a bear trap.
As
she gets his phone, and she finds out that it's Dr. Strange on there, and he tells her that his daughter and her were switched at birth, and his daughter he named Wednesday after a poem he suggests.
Wednesday's Child, something or other. Yeah.
Which is a name that the original creators from the TV series actually got the name from. Probably, I'm not sure.
Probably.
I just only heard about this. Anyway,
whatever.
So he then gets her. She decides that she needs time to figure this out. So she then takes some clumps of her dad's hair off his head.
Yeah.
And she does a bit of an experiment.
A DNA check of her own.
Yeah. And she finds out
they're not
family. Shocker.
Shock horror.
Yeah, so she writes a letter to her parents telling them that she doesn't feel like she's no longer a part of their family, and therefore must go out and seek the truth from Dr. Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
So she and Lurch comes along with her because he's technically not an Addams, even though he's always part of their family when you think about it.
He was adopted.
Anyway, so both Lurch and Wednesday, they continue on towards Death Valley or close to it. And along the way, they meet some bikers at a biker bar, and there Lurch entertains them with playing I Will Survive. And
very good rendition.
Impressing the bike players, bike riders, and allowing them to give Wednesday a lift to where Cyrus lives.
Wherever it was, yeah.
They soon arrive there, and there Cyrus does his own DNA test with her, and he says it's all confirmed. Positive.
Yeah, and he did lie, though. He did cheat.
Yeah, anyway, she also meets Ophelia, that's supposedly Dr. Strange's daughter that he has, who's a little overweight and all that stuff.
Weird.
And weird.
And his wife looked like a bird.
Yeah, or whatever. And soon enough, her family arrive. Gomez, Morticia, and Pugsley, and Fester. And they try to convince Wednesday to come home, but she says, "No, I belong here. He's my legitimate dad and everything. And while you guys have been always raised me, I am technically Dr. Strange's daughter. So she's Wednesday Strange."
She is.
Oh man, that's
Very
so
good.
funny.
Anyway,
Pugsley bonds with Ophelia, but discovers that she is a pig. in disguise.
She's degenerating back to what she originally was.
It turns out Doctor Strange was also experimenting with animals, turning them into people.
So his wife wasn't really his wife. She was a bird who tried to turn into a human, and she was going back to what she was. And Ophelia was a pig he made into a human, and she was slowly regressing.
Yeah, so he needs that part of Wednesday's formula to finally complete making a person a person, an animal into a person.
Yeah, but make it permanent.
Anyway, soon enough the family hear about this, and Strange tries to get Wednesday to turn them into any animal or turn them into anything she wants. And she feels like, no, I don't want to do this. This isn't right. This isn't right.
She's really a good girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she attempts to. Soon enough, she finally says that they're not related and all that stuff. But Strange is content to continue the experiment and is about to experiment on Wednesday's parents. I mean, Gomez and Morticia.
Exactly.
And her brother, I should mention. But luckily enough...
And Thing.
Oh, yeah, Thing, too.
Thank you.
I forgot.
Poor Thing.
Yeah. Anyway, luckily enough, Lurch arrives, and then Pongo arrive, and they're about to do a confrontation, whatever, but unfortunately they didn't. They actually hugged. And as it turns out, Wednesday tells Cyrus that Lurch and Pongo, they used to be inmates
in the same asylum.
At the same asylum where Gomez and Morticia found Lurch.
Yeah.
So they have been friends, and Pongo told Lurch in that eye contact thing that Wednesday is in danger. Yeah, and therefore this confirms that Strange is not all he appears. And then we get a bit of a brief both Lurch and Pongo, they start beating the snot out of Strange, throwing him into a ball, banging him around, and soon enough they release the rest of the family from their cells and sort of.
And how this gooey stuff was going into these special tubes already. Yeah. Anyway, the gooey stuff was the thing to change the DNAs and different things, and whatever.
Soon enough, Strange turns into a part man, part turkey.
Wait.
Or something.
He got thrown into the gooey stuff.
Yeah.
Then he started to change into a part man, a huge one though.
Yeah. Lurch and Pongo try to fight him, but unfortunately he swings his wing and hits both the two men into a wall, knocking them out.
Yeah. But who comes to the rescue?
Uncle Fester,
who's now turned into a giant squid or octopus.
Yes, he's now an octopus.
A big one.
And therefore he decides to fight him with his almighty strength and starts beating him to death until they both fall out of a window. But luckily enough, Fester was able to latch on to the cliff and was able to pull himself out. But thanks to Wednesday's potion, he's suddenly dying from the transformation.
Because it wasn't good for him. But that necklace that Mummy gave her had all the blood from the other Addams families. Had the DNA of all the Addams in there, which she could use to save him. Lovely.
So she activates some of Cyrus's equipment and starts mixing the blood with the stuff and injects it into Fester, and he slowly transforms back into his regular self again.
An idiot.
And I should mention Ophelia. She turns back into a human.
And she stays human. I think I got the impression they're going to adopt her. So she might show up in the sequel.
Yeah, both Pugsley and Ophelia are happy reunited and everything. And soon enough, the family decides to go home. And when we get home, it's a total noisemaker.
Yes, and Grandma
is like...
trying to explain, and Morty says, it's a welcome home party.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Probably best so they don't know the details. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they then return, and Wednesday then asks Gomez the final question. Like, she did her DNA test on him, and she can't figure out why it said they're not really compatible, not really family.
She said she took a piece of his hair. She said, I can explain that. I did an experiment with something years ago, and I burnt all my hair off or something rather. It's a wig.
Yeah, it's actually made of a yak's wig hairs.
Yak hair or something rather, not real hair.
He then tells her that he's definitely her father, and I should mention he was obviously he's always obsessed with her, hugging her. So
he wants to hug his daughter.
He does hug her before back in the lab, but she's always bending his finger, telling you only get one hug
in a lifetime. Deal with it.
Yeah. Anyway, he's happy that they bonded, and he suggests they make their new plans for their next vacation. He thinks maybe we should travel around the world. And
everyone goes,
yeah. And then we flash to the credits. Well, not the credits. We actually flash to the song, the famous Addams Family song, where we see different images or different illustrations of them traveling to different countries, like France, India, different parts of Italy.
All Australia. Yeah. They got around.
Yeah, to Africa.
I didn't see them, but
anyway. Then we then cut to the credits, and that's the end of the story.
Yay! Fade to black. There you go.
Yeah. Now let's move on to reception
and stuff. Well, what can I say? You can't go by what critics say. Nope. The critics are idiots. No.
And bear in mind, Mike, as you said before, this took place at the end of COVID, and at the time we were still paranoid about whether or not to
I read here,
this thing.
Was theatrical released in the United States and internationally at the same time, about the 1st of October 2001. Mm-hmm. It also became available for online rental on the same day.
Sweet.
Because not sweet, because because the COVID had restrictions in theatres. People weren't going as much and blah blah, so they wanted to make some money on it. So we don't know how much it made online. I would like to think it made a lot more money than on the online streaming than it did through the theatres, because it was, as far as I'm concerned, animation falls its own category. And now, as far as animation goes and good storylines, and it's made for kiddie stroke family sort of viewing, it's not a serious movie per se. So it's going to be in that sort of, that kiddie teen family sort of, that little niche. So it's not going to be terribly in-depth. It's a good, fun storyline. It's good. The voice acting's fine. The continuity is good. I can't say the filming's great DOP because it's animated, but the equivalent thereof. I mean, it's a good, fun movie to watch, and it's a good sequel to the first movie.
Yeah.
Which I liked very much as well. And I'm looking forward to a third movie if it comes out.
Yeah, and I'm more than ever looking forward to the TVC Wednesday Addams coming up next month.
But the critics didn't like it. It's all same old, blah, blah, blah. There's only so much you can do. Gomez will always be Gomez. Morticia will always be Morticia. They cannot change. It's like in MASH. Frank Burns' character was not allowed to change through the whole series, where the other people were allowed to develop. You cannot change people if that's the character they want them for the series.
Yeah.
Or these movies. So, yeah.
I mean,
but the critics didn't like it. They said, some thought it was a bit better than others, but no one got the juices up on it. But that doesn't mean it's crap or anything. It just means the reception, the critics just didn't like, because they don't like this sort of stuff.
Yeah, and this is mostly for a children's audience. I mean, didn't you say, Mike, before?
I didn't say children. I said it's based on a family sort of area where kids can enjoy it as well as young adults.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm an old adult. I am going on 69 next birthday, and I like it.
Yeah.
So it's older guys can like it, and young kiddies can. You can sit there with your grandkids and have a great time with this movie, and you can both enjoy it. It's not like watching SpongeBob SquarePants or some crappy thing like that. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, Mike.
Yeah.
Didn't in the other Addams Family cartoon movie, didn't they adult audiences were dissatisfied, but they failed to realize this was a kids movie.
It's focused on it's not a seriously dark adult movie. It is a kiddie type movie or a family movie. Like Disney used to make years ago. They're good wholesome family movies, and Donald Duck on Vacation sort of. So for an animated one, or those movies used to make like the Shaggy Dog and stuff. It was a family movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these critics got no freaking idea.
Yeah, this is mostly for children.
This
audiences.
is a good movie, good family movie, and I say family like I said. I'm an old man. I retired a couple of years ago. I enjoyed the movie. I like blood and guts and gore just as much as the next person. Good, clean, wholesome fun. However, I can enjoy a good animated movie as well.
Yeah,
and this falls in that category.
Yeah, and I enjoy watching the Addams Family in different formats, like cartoon or, live actors and stuff like that. Because I always enjoy the different adaptations of how they were able to create the story. I mean, how they changed the characters from how Wednesday and Pugsley started off as kids who would... they started off like ordinary kids who like to do things differently.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then we move on to them being rivals and all the time using any medieval devices or any torture devices and in order to have fun with one another, but at the same time you could tell that they are just...
Wednesday always wants to kill Pugsley. That's right. That's an ongoing
and then
thing.
And then they move on to making out Wednesday is the torturer and her brother likes to be the torturee.
Well, he doesn't like to. He's just the eternal victim.
The victim of being tortured.
Now, actually, what I was going to say, just getting back to typecasting and different things. But you look at it's a cartoon, right? And people say, "Oh, same old." But you look at an ongoing animated series like The Simpsons or South Park, or the characters don't change.
True. And
there's a reason for it. People like the characters. The same general. Dialogue keeps coming out, the same one-liner type jokes, the same scenarios. It's all the same, but it's fun. And that's what the critics and other people have to realise. There's a thing out in the world called fun. It's spelled F-U-N. Okay? And I don't think they realise what fun is.
Yeah, every time I see these, they try to challenge... Like, when they did that new Chip and Dale movie, I should mention, they forgot the meaning of the word fun.
They try to make it too serious to put real voices in instead of chipmunk voices, didn't they?
Yeah, and then they had to make out the characters are more like the way that ordinary people are like these days. I don't think it's fun, I know it's supposed to be catered to the adult audience who were fans of the genre years ago, but I'm not. I like to remember these characters as they were.
Yeah, with Chip and Dale type voices.
Yeah, and I also don't like to be reminded that Peter Pan is a normal, more regular person, and in this world, and ages it.
What's this?
He gets aged in the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger movie. He looks like he's in his 50s.
Oh, no. Well, he's no longer a lost boy. He's a lost geriatric almost.
That's what worries me, because I don't like it that they tried to age cartoons.
Stuff. Peter Pan's supposed to be ageless, a little bit like Cliff Richard,
it's just that me losing the whole point of what cartoons were like. They were innocent, sweet,
fun, and your characters don't change. Has Mickey Mouse died of old age yet? Shouldn't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
He's been around for a long time.
I kind of like it better if they continue making it look like it appeals to young audiences.
It should stay the same.
Yeah, I know over the years they changed the appearance of characters, and I don't like that. I like to keep it still with the kid audience.
Yeah,
I mean,
but keep the same characters, the same look, and the same. I mean, obviously the people who do the voices, they might change just a little bit, but still keep the same basic voice. Yeah. Because Mel Blanc did a lot of the Bugs Bunnies and different things, but he's not around. But I think his son does a lot of the voices now, but he's a little bit different.
I just don't know what they're trying to imply. Trying to make him too more normal or human?
Too human, and that's the problem. They're not human. You look at what's another good one? Okay, look, my little grandkids, they like Monsters versus Aliens. Was it?
Monsters versus Aliens.
Yeah, and they got Bob the Blob and Link and the cockroach guy, whatever his name is. And Bob the Blob, played by Seth Rogen. Now, if they changed his voice or personality, it wouldn't be the same. Yeah. Seth Rogen makes that role. And don't change him. He's a blob. He's an idiot. He's supposed to be, and he's got a funny voice. Yeah? And a great personality. That's it. You don't change him.
Yeah, and often sometimes I try to drag my niece and nephew away from their daily computer time to show them some old cartoons that I grew up with a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they like Scooby-Doo. Sometimes they never get enough of that one or two of the episodes, and it's a little hard to steer them away sometimes.
Actually, speaking of Scooby-Doo, I did go. I was looking at an old supernatural TV series the other day, and there's one where they got dragged into a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
That was really good.
That was Scooby-Natural, I think it was called. Was
yeah,
it?
that was
that
hilarious.
was really funny. Oh, Lord. Yeah. But it was fun. And the characters in there were the same as the Scooby-Doo cartoons. They didn't change them.
Yeah. These days, so many people are trying to change it. Like, they, so far they made a lot of live action versions where they have humans. And there was even one where it dabbles with Daphne and Velma in one movie, I think it was, just them, not anyone else. And now they're thinking of making one where it dabbles just with Velma, even though when it comes to Scooby-Doo, in every version, I like Scooby-Doo because he's funny and enjoyable.
I reckon Scooby-Doo is a rip-off of Astro out of the Jetsons. I don't know about you guys, but I think he copied him.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes the group make me think of those old, like those Texas Chainsaw Massacre groups, the people in those slasher movies where instead of the usual gore and horror, you get a little bit of light humor, from with them being placed in a scary environment.
Yeah, these pesky kids, it's always going to be a property developer or a greedy grandfather or something.
Or a greedy person who just happens to be in a spot because he knows the worth of the land is something. Exactly. And he uses the ghost image to scare passerbys to get them away.
Good move. I wish I could do that. Now, okay, look, I don't think we could talk too much more about this. We're digressing and talking about other shows now. Okay, but you get a general guess. I mean, you got to keep the people in animated shows the same. Simpsons, good example. The Family Guy, they're not going. You shouldn't change them. They should be the same. Otherwise, if you change it too much, look, actually, take 2.5 Men. I like Charlie Sheen, but when they changed it and put got him out and put the other guy in, it lost the dynamics as far as I'm concerned. It just didn't work.
Yeah, I know people.
You needed Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, I know the director or the creator was not fond of him.
No, we're not getting that. I'm just saying you make a change to it, and the change didn't work.
Yeah. I'm just saying that when you remove that aspect, the actor, because you dislike them,
well, he had a problem, wasn't user-friendly or whatever, but the point is it didn't work because you shouldn't change it if it's working.
So if this happens, then you're in a tight spot, and the character that made the story may...
It would have been better just close the show down.
It would be just time to close the studio down.
Yeah. Well, no, the show. Yeah, so that happens. Anyway, irrespective... I'm going to tell you its availability at eBay. Yes, you can buy it. Amazon, you can buy it and or rent it. I would say, if in doubt, just rent it if you're not real sure. But it's good fun. Good fun for the family. You want to sit down with the kiddies, have a nice afternoon, early evening. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I would do it. My grandkids, if they're here at the moment, they're not here. Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a podcast. And I'm going to give this about a 9.5.
I'm going to give this movie a 9.5 too.
There you go. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I
mean, as we said before, that when COVID, when we were at the end of COVID in 2021, I think, people were worried about attending this movie.
They're still getting over it. That was towards the end of it, but it still had effects on the theatre attendances. So they had to know, the movie companies, production companies had to figure out how to release it to make some money.
So don't always believe that box office means that lack of viewers. It may be just lack of fact that people were too scared to attend.
Well, we didn't go to the theatre for a few years. We only went recently, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, when we saw the Invitation movie.
Yeah, that was the first time we'd been for about 3 years.
Yeah, I wish it was my last.
We're going to start going back to the theatre now.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll go back eventually if we can find some movies that are worth reviewing.
We saw that have been advertised. Amsterdam, isn't it?
Yeah, I've heard that there has been actually a few horror, murder mystery type movies coming out, and there might be there's quite a few, so it's going to be really difficult trying to work out which ones are going to be worth pursuing.
But I don't mind a murder. Like the Inspector Poirot and Agatha Christie, other ones like Miss Marple. I like those on TV, movies and stuff. But when you get something like Death on the Nile and stuff, I love it. Peter Ustinov is great. But now that the newer guys are doing something similar, same sort of murder mysteries. Hey, I'm up for it. Yeah, really good.
Just as long as we don't watch the new one with Hercule Poirot. That guy, he stinks.
I'll leave it alone.
He's terrible.
Why? You don't like his moustache?
No, I just don't like how they changed the story so much.
That's a story. What about the actor?
I don't know. I just don't.
You don't like the way the story went.
I just don't think it looks very believable.
No, they might have contemporised it a bit, did they? Or
at least when
they lost the feeling of
they
it.
try to make Hercule Poirot's mustache not over the top big, like over top. I know people had big mustaches. Even
what a bit like Salvador Dali's long and skinny, was it? Or
not long and skinny, more like long and chunky.
Okay.
It makes me think it was like like he had a pour of fluff up his nose.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be a very dapper dresser and well groomed. So that's sort of out of character.
He also didn't speak French.
What did he speak?
Well, not French. I mean, he doesn't speak a French or Belgian accent. He just sounded like he didn't sound like he spoke really well for a Belgian accent.
I haven't seen it. I'll reserve comment. Anyway, let us leave these good people alone.
At least the original actors were English, and they were able to adapt to speaking a little bit of.
Some of them actually had French as a second language and stuff.
Yeah, because most of the actors I've spoken to who would often tell me about that.
Peter Ustinov wasn't French or English.
True.
But he made a very, very good Poirot. How's that? Anyway. Let us move on and close down.
Yeah, anyway, so that's the Addams Family 2 movie.
If you like the Addams Family, period.
Plural.
No, period. Full stop. If you like the Addams Family, I like the original television series of John Aston and Carol Jones. I thought that was great. And then a few years later, a couple of decades later, we started getting the movies coming with Raul Julia and Angelica Houston. I loved them. They had the same feeling. Now we've got the animated ones coming out, and they've still got the same feeling. So it's good fun. It's worth a look. If you you younger guys out there, if you haven't seen the original TV series, I suggest it's probably old enough to get off of YouTube or. I would say probably even a torrent download because it's probably public domain stuff now.
Nope.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Go and have a look at it because you might not be able to buy it, the TV series being so old, but it is good fun and it's laughable. You had the Munsters and you had the Addams Family come out at a similar time, and they were both really fun, tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah. I haven't seen the new Munster movie that was made by Rob Zombie yet because I'm not sure what to make of it yet.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Mostly because I do still think that they did a clumsy attempt at Herman's makeup.
Here we go again.
What? His makeup is terrible. Don't they know anything about what
He's posing
Merman
with
looked like?
Frankenstein, but in 1313 Mockingbird Lane, he didn't even look anything like a Frankenstein monster. Okay, leave it alone.
I meant Rob Zombie's one. Like, he made the face green. What kind of man has not even seen that? Don't point at that. I just mean that hasn't he bothered to actually watch the coloured versions of monsters?
Actually, it's quite funny to agree. In a lot of things, Herman's face is supposed to be deathly white because he's got no blood in him.
Yeah. Use your...
So he looks like a corpse walking around. But green would indicate decay.
Yeah.
That's all. So he gave him green, but maybe too much green. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to say anything. Okay, let these people go to bed.
Okay, so anyway, thanks for listening to our latest podcast, everyone, and be sure to check us out when we do visit Fright Night.
Yeah, well, Sarah will obviously post it, and you guys will be able to see what
Fright Night is all about.
Yeah, it's probably you got something similar in America and England, just from different other countries, but this is ours.
I would love to actually take part in a zombie run one day. It would be so cool.
Well, you have a zombie run, and I'll go to a zombie wheelchair, and you can push me, okay?
I would love to take part in something like that.
Or I can sit back with a director's chair and film you running. How's that? That'd even better.
Anyway, we've really gone all out in Halloween this year. We've actually brought lots of good, props and accessories. And
I've got skeletons hanging around my office here at the moment. Everything. I've got a big skeleton sitting in the spare chair. I've got a little glowing skeleton. I love skeletons.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm not alone now.
The big problem here is that in Australia we don't celebrate Halloween.
We don't do Halloween like you do in America, and really, I would love to be able to do the front lawn up and have all the kiddies come here and knock
I would like to
on the
get
door
some mannequins, if I can, and decorate them up with ghostly zombie-looking appearances, and just make them look, just lay them in an interesting
my only problem, if we did all the stuff at the front,
yes,
I'd have every kid in the neighbourhood coming here, and I'd have to get a truckload of candy, and I'd have to start eating leftovers.
Yeah,
I'm already overweight.
Yeah, last time we didn't get too many trick-or-treaters our way.
And sometimes I buy some candy and no one comes, and I think, well, then I've got to eat the lollies. And the candy, I hate wastage.
Yeah, this happens a lot, and it's I can't stand waste. And
so we have to eat the lollies. Yes.
Well, Mike does. I don't eat them anymore. I try not to.
And you can't give kids apples because it's healthy for them, and not on Halloween, surely. No.
Yeah, razor blades,
No, actually, you leave that alone. That's good for a horror movie. Just leave it alone. Go away. Let's wind it up now. Say goodbye, folks. Yibbity, yibbity, yibbita. That's all, folks.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, that's about it for us tonight. So, thanks for listening to our latest podcast, everyone. And even though it's too early to say this now,
it's almost Halloween.
We'll say Happy Halloween to you guys
for the next couple of Halloweens, because we are getting close. Yeah.
Yes. So have a good Halloween, and let us know in the comments what you guys think of the Addams Family 2 movie.
And you younger ones out there who might be trick-or-treating still, you might be your teenage years. Yeah. If you're going to trick, make it a good one. Scare the crap out of somebody.
All right. Happy Halloween, guys, and have a good one. Bye
for
now.
Guys.